Okay, we can begin. This is the schedule for chanting the 3 chapters today. So I think everybody is here. Let's move on. Go ahead, Shankar.
Okay. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Pardon me?
Go ahead, Shankar.
Okay. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Viknopashantaye Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktincha Chatpurusha Parasharancha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Ata Asya Shishyam Shri Shankaracharya Ata Asya Padmapadancha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakaram Ananyan Asmadgurun Santam Anatosmi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Srimad Bhagavad Gita Dhyanam Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetra Kripanayim Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Hriday Namaham Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogda Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamratam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona Tata Jayadrata Jala Gandharani Lotvala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Vela Kula Ashwathama Vikarna Gora Makhara Duryodhana Varthini Stotirna Kalu Pandavairanadi Kaivarta Keshavaha Parasharya Vatsaroja Mamalam Gitartha Gandhotkatam Nana Kyana Kesaram Harikatam Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shakpadairahara Pepiye Manam Muda Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsinam Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marata Sunvanti Divyasavai Vedai Sangha Padakramo Panishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasantam Naviduhu Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Should I start? We can't hear you. Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead and start.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita Panchadashodhyayah Acha Panchadashodhyayah Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolamadha Shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavit Adhaschodhvam Prasutastasya Shakhaha गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्य अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषाः अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसङ्गैः गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययं तथा न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यद्वाप्नोति यच्छाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयान् उपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्छाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा उष्णामिदौ चौषधी सर्वा सोमौ भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधं सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः यस्मात्क्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतिथः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद्बुद्ध्या बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता सूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः।
ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अथ षोडशोऽध्यायः दैवासुरसम्पद्विभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच
अभयं
तत्त्वसंशुद्धिः ज्ञानयोगव्यवस्थितिः दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम् अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोधः त्यागशान्तिरपैशुनम् दया भूतेष्वलोलुप्त्वम् मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम् तेजक्षमा धृतिः शौचम् अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च क्रोधपारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थ सम्पदमासुरीम् दैवी सम्पद्विमोक्षाय निबन्धायासुरीमता मा शुच सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डव द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन् दैव आसुर एव च दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः असुरं पार्थ मे शृणु प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च जनान विदुरासुराः न शौचं नापि चाचारो न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते असत्यमप्रतिष्ठं ते जगदाहुरनीश्वरम् अपरस्परं भूतं किमन्यात् कामहैतुकम्
एतां दृष्टिमवष्टुभ्य नष्टात्मानोऽल्पबुद्धयः प्रभवन्त्युग्रकर्माणः क्षयाय जगतो हिताः काममाश्रित्य दुष्पूरं दम्भमानमदान्विताः मोहाद् गृहीत्वा सद्ग्राहान् प्रवर्तन्ते शुचिव्रताः चिन्तामपरिमेयाञ्च प्रलयान्तामुपाश्रिताः कामोपभोगपरमाः एतावदिति निश्चिताः आशापाशशतैर्बद्धाः कामक्रोधपरायणाः ईहन्ते कामभोगार्थम् अन्यायेनार्थसञ्चयान् इदमद्य मया लब्धम् इमं प्राप्स्ये मनोरथम् इदमस्तीदमपि मे भविष्यति पुनर्धनम् असौ मया हतः शत्रुः हनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहमहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आढ्योऽभिजनवान् अस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्ष्ये दास्यामि मोदिष्ये इत्यज्ञानविमोहिताः अनेकचित्तविभ्रान्ताः मोहजालसमावृताः प्रसक्ता कामभोगेषु पतन्ति नरकेषु च
आत्मसम्भाविताः स्तब्धाः धनमानमदान्विताः
यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम् अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः मामात्मपरदेहेषु प्रद्विषन्तोऽभ्यसूयकाः तानहं द्विषतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपाम्यजस्रमशुभान् आसुरीष्वेव योनिषु आसुरीं योनिमापन्नाः मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि मामप्राप्यैव कौन्तेय ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम् त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं द्वारं नाशनमात्मनः कामः क्रोधस्तथा लोभः तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत् एतैर्विमुक्तः कौन्तेय तमोद्वारैस्त्रिभिर्नरः आचरत्यात्मनः श्रेयः ततो याति परां गतिम् यः शास्त्रविधिम् उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति न सुखं न परां गतिम् तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्याकार्यव्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहर्हसि ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे दैवासुरसम्पद्विभागयोगो नाम षोडशोऽध्यायः।
श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। अथ सप्तदशोऽध्यायः। श्रद्धात्रय विभाग योगः। श्री अर्जुन उवाच ये शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण सत्त्वमाहो रजस्तमः। श्रीभगवानुवाच त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धाः देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु। सत्त्वानुरूपा सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत। श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषः यो यच्छ्रद्धः स एव सः। यजन्ते सात्विका देवान् यक्षरक्षांसि राजसाः प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये यजन्ते तामसा जनाः। अशास्त्रविहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपोजनाः दम्भाहङ्कारसंयुक्ताः कामरागबलान्विताः कर्षयन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्राममचेतसः माञ्चैवान्तः शरीरस्त्वं तान् विद्यासुरनिश्चयान्। आहारस्त्वपि सर्वस्य त्रिविधो भवति प्रियः यज्ञस्तपस्तथा दानं तेषां भेदमिमं शृणु। आयुः सत्त्वबलारोग्य सुखप्रीतिविवर्धनाः रस्याः स्निग्धाः स्थिरा हृद्य आहारः सत्त्वकप्रियाः Yuktam Lalavanatyushna Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinah Ahara Rajasasyeshta Dukkha Shokamaya Pradha. Harihi Om.
यातयामं गतरसं पूतिपर्युषितं च यत् उच्छिष्टमभिचामेद्यं भोजनं तामसप्रियम् अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्यज्ञः विदृष्टो य युज्यते यष्टव्यमेवेति मनः समादाय स सात्विकः अभिसन्धाय तु फलं दम्भार्थमभिचैव यत् युज्यते परतः श्रेष्ठ तन्यज्ञं विद्धि राजसं विधिहीनमसृष्टानं मन्त्रहीनमदक्षिणं श्रद्धाविरहितं यज्ञं तामसं परिचक्षते देवद्विजगुरुप्राज्ञ पूजनं शौचमार्जवं ब्रह्मचर्यमहिंसा च शरीरं तव उच्यते अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायं व्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तव उच्यते मनःप्रसादः सौम्यत्वं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्धिरित्येतत् तपो मानसमुच्यते श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते सत्कारमानपूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवम्
मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः परश्चोत्साधनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् दातव्यमिति यद्दानं धीयतेनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम् यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः धीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसंस्कृतम् अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च धीयते असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशः ब्राह्मणस्त्रीविधः स्मृतः ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिता पुरा तस्मादोमित्यदाहृत्य यज्ञदानतपक्रियाः प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्ताः सततं ब्रह्मवादिनां तदित्यनभिसन्धाय फलं यज्ञतपक्रियाः दानक्रियाश्च विविधाः क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः सद्भावे साधुभावे च सदित्येतत् प्रयुज्यते प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा सच्चब्दः पादयुज्यते यज्ञे तपसि दाने च स्थितिः सदिति सोच्यते कर्म चैव ततिर्धीयं सदित्येवाभिधीयते अश्रद्धया हुतं दत्तं तपस्तप्तं कृतं च यत् असदित्युच्यते पार्थ न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे श्रद्धात्रय विभागयोगो नाम सप्तदशोऽध्यायः।
Hey Krishna Arpanamastu. Very good. I think the recitation standard has significantly improved over the period, and we are almost reaching near perfection in many of you. Very good. So with that, let's continue. So the last verse of this 17th chapter, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastu taptam krutam chayate asadityuchyate partha nacha tat pretya noiha. He says, if you don't have that Shraddha, see, Arjuna started the asking the question. This chapter was started, Arjuna asking, you don't follow the Shastra, but like you do engage in a conviction. What kind of a conviction would that be? That's how he started. Now Krishna is saying that Shraddha refers to, as we see in the chapter, Shraddha refers to Shraddha in the Shastra. So anybody who does not have the Shraddha in the Shastra, you see, he says, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritan chayati. Any yajna done, any dana given, any tapas done with Ashraddha, not in accordance with the Shastra, he says, Asat iti uchyate, that is as if not done. There is no, see, any karma has a certain effect as an outcome. Asadityuchate partha, that karma does not help you to upgrade yourself, to progress yourself. Nacha tat pretya noiha, neither here in this life nor afterlife. Any shraddha that is done, that any karma that is done without that shraddha in the Shastra is almost as if it has no effect at all. That is how he completes this 17th chapter. Now, coming to the, understanding this, Arjuna now is asking, okay, the Shastra says in so many ways, Krishna himself has said in several contexts, Sanyasa and Tyaga. So Arjuna, let me put this in slideshow mode. So Arjuna starts this chapter here with this question of Sanyasa and Tyaga. How to understand this? The Shraddha in the Shastra, you get into the Shraddha aspect of it. You can follow the Shastra with Shraddha. Then there are these two terms he has to deal with, Sanyasa and Tyaga. How to understand this correctly? That is his question. Now, before we try to address that issue, let us try to understand this particular chapter itself. This chapter is called Mokṣha Sanyasa Yoga. See, most of the other chapters bear to some aspect of like Shraddha Vibhaga Yoga belongs to, talks about Shraddha. Purushottama Prapti Yoga talks about how to attain to Purushottama. Like this, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga talks about Guna. This is a kind of a mix of everything. This is a summary. This chapter is a summary of the Bhagavad Gita Shastra that Krishna has described so far. He is reinforcing all those. If Arjuna has forgotten, he is reinforcing them again in a summary form in this chapter. And he, or Vedavyasa, has called this Mokṣha Sanyasa Yoga. So we have to understand what is this Mokṣha Sanyasa. Now, commentators give some different meanings of what is this Mokṣha Sanyasa. Now, this Tyaga and Sanyasa, we will deal with this in very much in this chapter, in the first few verses, is giving up or refrain or renunciation. These are all the meanings for these. They are kind of identical words. Now, what is the ultimate, goal here is being a witness is a moksha. To attain to moksha is the ultimate goal of the Gita Shastra, trying to describe the attainment of moksha. And what is moksha? moksha is seeing from the Atma level. You don't see at the body level, at the mind level. You are a witness to the body and the mind. You are different from the body, and therefore you become a witness of this drishya. Drik is the seer, drishya is the seen. The entire universe, the Prakriti, is something to be seen, not to be identified with. We are all, as a body and mind, are a combination of, are a part of this Prakriti. Therefore, being a witness is moksha. That is, you have separated yourself from the Prakriti. And separated from the Prakriti, you stand as a witness to the Prakriti. That is moksha. Now, giving up a witnessed object culminates in being a witness. How do you become this witness? You give up the identity with the witnessed object. Right now, we are all identifying with the Prakriti. I am the body, I am the doer, I am the knower, I am the enjoyer. These are all experiences in the Prakriti. And so giving up this identity with the Prakriti, giving up a witnessed object, I'm the witness. But Prakriti is the witnessed object. I have mistaken myself to be the witnessed object. So giving up this concept or notion of witnessed objects culminates in being a witness. So that when you attain to that witness, he remains in Atma. So being a witness is moksha. Attaining to moksha by giving up sense objects, that is witnessed objects, is moksha sannyasa. Renunciation of the sense objects culminates in moksha, and that becomes moksha. That's one meaning given. Commentators give a little more. So, what is moksha? When a person is attained to this moksha, he remains as Paramatma. We said here he remains as Atma, and Atma and Paramatma at that level is one and the same. So, moksha is Paramatma. Sanyasa is the cause of establishing in Paramatma. Sanyasa of what? Sanyasa of Prakriti. So, Sanyasa of Prakriti is the cause of being establishing yourself in the Paramatma. Therefore, offering or renouncing sannyasa, that is karma, karma pala, kartrutva, bhoktrutva, that is moksha. So that is also moksha sannyasa. By giving up, you become, you attain to moksha, therefore moksha sannyasa. That's another slightly variation of the first meaning. The third one is moksha sannyasa is to renounce moksha itself. That's another meaning. You're right now we are saying go dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You seek this moksha is what is being said. Then you give up moksha also. What is left there if you give up moksha? It is not a voluntary giving of moksha, giving up of moksha. You kind of slowly attain to that state. It is only the bonded who seeks moksha. Like you and I are bonded people now. So we are seeking moksha. But as we approach that state of liberation, even that moksha is different from me is also, that concept also goes away. Now I want to attain moksha means I'm seeing moksha as different from me. But when I get to that state of liberation, ultimately I'm approaching that state of liberation. Just as I approach the state of liberation, that identity with moksha as a different entity also goes away. That is moksha sannyasa. He says the liberated has no desire for moksha at that time, because he has already identified himself as moksha, Paramatma, and therefore there is no second object. Moksha is Paramatma, there is no separate entity at all. Then there is the question of even seeking something, and you are the only one. So one who has realized the truth of moksha has no need for moksha at all. There is no moksha separate from him, and therefore he gives up moksha also, that desire for moksha also, that is moksha sannyas. So these are some of the explanations that the commentators provide to understand this chapter. And this chapter is nothing different from the 17 chapters. The 17 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita describes the moksha sannyasa, moksha only, how to attain to moksha. And therefore, he has aptly, we have come to understand the entire Shastra. Now we should be standing in moksha sannyasa, because we have understood we are not the witness, we are the witness. And when I am the witness, there is nothing to give up. That is the moksha sannyasa. That is the last chapter of this book. So Arjuna starts with this question: Sanyasasya mahabaho tatvamichhami veditum tyagasya cha hrishikesha pratakeshi nishudana. Rishikesha, the Rishikesha is one who has won over the sense organs. Veditum ichhami, I would like to know what? Sanyasasya cha tyagasya tattvam pratak, the difference between the principles of renunciation and sacrifice, or giving up, or to forego. This tyaga, there is really no good English word to explain it. We'll see how best to understand that. Keshi Nishudana. Keshi Nishudana is another name for Krishna. He killed a demon called Keshi, and therefore this Keshi Nishudana is what Arjuna addresses him as. In this chapter, again, you can say Keshi is the existence in Prakriti. One who destroys this existence in Prakriti is Krishna. That meaning also we can make. So Mahabahu Hrishikesha, Keshi Nishodhana. So he has addressed him with three names here in this particular verse. He has addressed Krishna in different names, three of them. I would like to know separately renunciation and giving up for both. So as I said, this Keshi is a demon. He was in the form of a horse, and Krishna killed him. There's some Puranic stories related to that. So Arjuna is addressing him by that name, Keshi Nishodhana. So this these two words, sannyasa and tyaga, what it means. He wants to understand if there is any big difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Now, what is sannyasa? At the ultimate level, sannyasa is the state where with that naishkarmya, we will see more about this naishkarmya in the 18th chapter. It comes towards the end of this chapter. See, how do we engage in karma? There is an inner drive within us in order to do any karma. That inner drive is basically an expression of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So there's a motivation for karma, that is the motivator is the gunas. And when I become sattva guna, nirguna, I also transcend the sattva guna also. When I become nirguna, there is no gunas to motivate me to engage in action. That non-motivation for karma or lack of stimulation for karma is generally called sannyasa. That is the real giving up of karma. Not just wearing the ochre clothing. As long as the gunas are there, it drives the person to engage in karma. When those gunas have been retired and you stay beyond sattva guna, pure sattva you enter into, in that state, there is no karma motivation, like Atma. Atma is Shuddha Sattva. In the state of Atma, there is no motivation for karma. That is called Naishkarmya. And when you attain to that state, karma is not done. And that is sannyasa. The ultimate definition of sannyasa is that. Now, tyaga is to renounce the fruits of karma. You do the karma, but you do not seek to benefit from that. You could do, and why we do that? We do that for the cleansing of the mind. We have studied that in the previous chapters. So, in our mind is the sattva, rajas, and tamas. and it is the rajas that is mostly responsible for doing a karma. And when you do a karma, there is a fruit of karma. But if when does that fruit of karma accrue? When I am in the prakriti, when I feel that I am the body and the mind, and with the body and mind, I become the doer and the enjoyer, knower of these objects and things like that. Therefore, I, as a knower enjoyer, have to experience the fruits of that karma, and as a doer, and therefore that karma pala automatically enjoins to the person, unless I have a volunteered thought in my mind that I am doing this karma as an offering to the Lord. I am not seeking the fruits of the Lord. That becomes tyaga. Tyaga is to renounce the fruits of karma. So why this confusion even comes to Arjuna? It may, that confusion may come to us also. We have studied so many chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and these two words, Sanyās and Tyaga, have been used in several contexts by several times by Krishna. And if I have to take the path of attaining to moksha, I have to clearly understand these two concepts, these two terminologies, or these expressions. This was not clear to Arjuna, and therefore he is asking to clarify that. He wants to understand Tattvataha, he says, as is, what are their differences, if any? That is what Arjuna is asking. So he wants a real confirmation of the real meaning of these two allusions, or these two references, Sanyasa and Tyaga. Arjuna uvacha Sanyasasya mahabaho.
Sanyasasya mahabaho. Sanyasasya mahabaho.
Tattvam ichchami veditum.
Tattvam ichchami veditum. Tattvam ichchami veditum.
Tyagasya cha hrishikesha.
Yagasya cha hrishikesha. Yagasya cha hrishikesha.
Prithakkeshi nishudana.
Prithakkeshi nishudana. Prithakkeshi nishudana.
Sanyasasya mahabaho. Tattvamichchami veditum. Tyagasya cha hrishikesha. Prithakkeshi nishudana.
Arjuna uvacha Sanyasasya mahabaho Tattvamichchami veditum Yagasya cha hrishikesha Prithakkeshi nishudana. Sanyasasya mahabaho Tattvamichchami veditum Yagasya cha hrishikesha Prithakkeshi nishudana.
Shri Bhagavan uvacha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sanyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma palatyagam rahustyagam vichakshanaha. Kavayaha viduhu, the learned know that kamyanam karmanam nyasam sanyasam, renouncing the desire motivated actions as sanyasa. See again, this is very interesting to understand where Krishna is coming here. We'll see that vichakshanaha prahuhu, however the thinkers declare that sarva karma palatyagam, surrender of fruits of action as tyaga. Sarva karma palatyagam tyagam, the surrender of fruits of action as tyaga. Now, if I want to have the fruits of karma for myself, that is a kartru, that's a doer. But one who surrenders the fruits of actions, even as he engages in the fruits of action, even as he engages in the karma, he becomes a tyagi. So sacrifice or forego, that is the word tyaga can be described as. So the wise call giving up desire motivated actions as renunciation. The knowledgeable say giving up fruits of action is give up or tyaga. Now, we go back to the previous definition of sannyasa that we saw in the first verse. Desire motivated actions. Desire comes from what? Desire comes from gunas. I have to experience something that is driven by the gunas, and therefore the definition is the same. But the desire motivated actions, sannyasa, is the ultimate achievement. But tyaga, that is giving up fruits of actions, is the practice stage. So, this sannyasa there are two contexts that the commentators give with respect to sannyasa. One is refers to renunciation of desire motivated karmas like Ashwamedha yaga, etc. That desire itself should not come. If the desire itself does not come, then there is no karma performed with respect to that. Then absence of desire, and therefore that becomes sannyasa. To enter the state of ascending to yoga, shama is the required discipline. Shama is in the mind, there is equanimity. When there is equanimity, there is no desire developed in him because of the gunas have no drive to express at that time. Therefore, there is no mental impressions driving karma, and this is sannyasa. Where do we get this karma? See, let us say I'm watching TV, and then suddenly I feel discomfort in my stomach. And lo and behold, right at that time, there is a commercial for Rolaids or some, something to calm my agitation in my stomach. So I go and I go to the medicine cabinet and then see that there is a Rolaids there, and then I take a Rolaids and I experience the discomfort going away. I feel comfortable again. Now, this has caused a mental impression that Rolaids, association of Rolaids and comfort in the intestine, the tummy, there's a relationship, and that relationship has been stored in my mind. Now, next time, when I have this discomfort in my stomach, whether I'm watching TV or not, or whether I am seeing the commercial or not, still that impression that is stored in the mind will drive me to action to go and take another Rolade. That becomes the mental impression to drive the karma. So this is true for everything that we do in this world, that in our practicing stage, whether you practice Bhagavad Gita or not, doesn't matter. Those impressions are always stored. But if you don't attach a fruit of action associated with karma, there is no relational database. There is no relationship between those two, that karma that you did and the mental impression that is stored in there. Therefore, there is no impression, no next time, no driving of karma. So that is what he is referring to as sannyasa. But to get to that state of ultimate sannyasa, I have to start giving up fruits of action. That is tyaga. Desire motivated actions are the cause of transmigration. And so liberation seeking jivas have to renounce desire motivated actions. And when you give up desire motivated actions, you are practicing tyaga. Now, this is one kind of renunciation. The second kind of renunciation is not engaging in karma that is mandatory. Is also called sannyasa by Noahs. So, for example, every person has to do nitya karma, naimittika karma. You have to do the ceremony of your parents who are departed. You have to give tarpana and sankramana, and whenever there is an eclipse and things like that. But I don't do that. I don't do a shastra mandated karma. That also becomes a sannyasa. But that is a useless sannyasa. It doesn't give you any further growth. But the karma pala tyaga, through the karma pala tyaga, whatever sannyasa you attain to, you have achieved something. You are on the way to moksha. But here, when out of ignorance or out of discomfort to the body, I don't do those prescribed karmas, and therefore that also is called sannyasa, but it is not a useful sannyasa. Now, what is tyaga? Tyaga is to surrender the fruits of mandatory, daily, and occasional karmas. Is sarva karma pala tyaga, and Noyas call it tyaga. All actions I do, I don't seek a benefit out of that. I do it as a service to the Lord, and that becomes sarva karma pala tyaga, and the Noyas call it in short as tyaga. Vichakshanaha, he uses the word. So a discipline that allows for personal and social growth is karma pala tyaga. Now, two things happen here. The karma pala that the karma that you do, the pala, you don't seek it, but the Lord makes sure that you are compensated for your karma to the extent of your need. There is a need and a want. The desire for fruits of action is driven by want, whereas the body needs only a certain need. I think I had told earlier once time before that Gandhiji made a statement. There is enough food to meet the needs of every person in this universe, but there is not enough food to meet the want of even one person. So this karma pala tyaga takes into the situation where he is not bothered about the fruits of action. He is doing it as a service of the Lord. So there he is renouncing the fruits of actions and not the karma. See, in this case, where by ignorance he is renouncing karma completely, whereas in this case he is doing the karma that is prescribed to him, but he is not seeking the benefits thereof. So that is karma phala tyaga. So such a person as a sannyasi and a yogi. So there is not a whole lot of difference if you see between karma, between sannyasa and yoga and tyaga. We'll see one more bullet on that. So giving up the fruits of actions gives totality to tyaga. Tyaga is to give away completely the fruit benefits of karma. And who are you giving it up to? You are surrendering it to the Lord. Yeah, okay, there is this karma done. Now, do you want to, if you want to share it with other people, you go ahead and share the fruits of it. That's what here societal growth comes into picture. He becomes the distributor of the karma pala that I offer it to him. And he distributes it as he sees fit. That is karma phala tyaga. So by giving up fruits of action, the prohibited actions automatically drop off. This is the best part of this is, see, all prohibited actions, I want to do it means there is a fruit of action that is associated with it. I'm say the Shastra says don't consume alcohol. Now, alcohol is known to give some immediate, comfort to the mind. If I'm worried about something all the time, if I take alcohol, it kind of covers it up, and there's a temporary happiness in me, inebriated state, and if I want that inebriated state, I go to consume alcohol or some other drugs or something like that. But if I give up fruits of action, I don't want this inebriated state, then automatically the prohibited actions drop off. I'm never motivated to engage in those prohibited actions because prohibited actions means adharma. Karmas that are not associated with dharma. Now, if I don't have a desire for any happiness coming out of some sense objects, I would try to accomplish that by even adharma means. If dharma means is not possible, I wouldn't mind as getting to it, getting that happiness or that benefit by adharma means. Standing example is Duryodhana. So these prohibited actions automatically drop off when I give up the fruits of action. And that is a big step in the progress towards self-realization. So whether giving up the desire-motivated karma or the fruits of mandatory karma, the two words sannyasa and tyaga refer to giving up and do not suggest different words like pot and cloth. This is the statement of Shankaracharya. He makes the final comment he makes on this verse. They are not two different entities like pot and cloth. He says, if to give a example on this, see, you have a bath towel and a hand towel. They both serve the same purpose. They can be, it is not two different like pot and cloth. It is a hand towel and a bath towel. They can be interchangeable also sometimes. If there's an emergency, they can be interchangeable also. Therefore, this sannyasa and tyaga, Krishna is saying, take it in the same spirit. They are both complement to each other. And when you practice this tyaga, automatically you will get to sannyasa. And when you have attained sannyasa, then there is no, like when that state of no mental impressions to engage in karma, of course, the tyaga does not even enter into picture. So that is the general description of this verse. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam.
Kamyanam karmanam vyasam. Kamyanam karmanam vyasam.
Sannyasam kavayaha viduhu.
Sanyāsam kavayaha viduho. Sanyāsam kavayaha viduho.
Sarva karma phalatyagam.
Sarva karma phalatyagam. Sarva karma phalatyagam.
Rahuhu tyagam vichakshanaha.
Rahuhu tyagam vichakshanaha. Rahuhu tyagam vichakshanaha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Sannyasam kavayo viduhu. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Rahustyagam vichakshanaha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Kamyanam karmanam vyasam. Sanyāsam kavayo viduho. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Rahustyagam vichakshanaha. Kamyanam karmanam vyasam. Sanyāsam kavayo viduho. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Rahustyagam vichakshanaha.
1 and 2.
Arjuna uvacha. Sannyasasya mahabaho. Tattvamicchami veditum. Yagasya cha hrishikesha. Prutakkeshi nishudana. Shri Bhagavan uvacha. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Sanyasam kavayo viduho. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Rahustyagam vichakshanaha.
So, having known what is sannyasa, what is tyaga, the next question is, should I engage in karma? Because karma, we will see, is associated with some defects. Should I do karma or not karma at all? That is addressed in this verse and in the next two verses. Yajyam doshavadityeke karma prahurmanishinaha yajnadana tapak karma natyajamiti chapare. Eke manishanaha prahuhu. One group of eke here is one group of people. Manishinaha prahuhu. Some scholars say karma doshavat tyajam iti. Karma is worthy of renouncing because of its being defective. Karma per se is defective. What is the defect? It is associated with the karma phala, and you have to experience the karma phala. And for that, you have to take another birth. That is the defect. It is a bonding. Yajna dana tapaha karma natyajam iti cha apare. Though if some people, one group of people say is like it should be given up, there is another group, apare, another group that says karmas like yajna, dana, and tapas are not worthy of renunciation. They have to be performed. That is the another group of people. So there is two groups of people. One who says give up karma. Karma has no, it has associated defects. And the other one says, no, you have to do karmas like yajna, dana, and tapas. Those have to be undertaken. That is another group of people. So all karmas are subject to bondage. That is the general expression. Karmas thus being defective, have to be given up is one opinion. This is one group of people. Now, there are, even when you do the karma, let us say you are even prepared to take another birth. Let us say that's okay. All right, I will accept that. I am happy with taking another birth. Then there is another difficulty with that. All karmas inevitably have associated blemishes like improper pronunciation of a mantra, improper execution of some steps of karma. So being inevitably defective, renounce all karmas is one opinion. All right. Even if you should take, I'm okay with being bonded to karma, then what happens is that is not even guarantee that you will go here or there. What you expect to get out of that the karma, you may not get. Why? Because we don't know the correct with the improper execution of some steps of karma, and then I have not practiced the Veda mantras correctly, so I pronounce them incorrectly. That has its own negative effects. So even the karma that you expect to, even the karma phala that you expect from the karma, you may not get it because of these deficiencies in observing these karmas. Therefore, don't mess with karma at all. Just give up karma. That is this opinion. Like attachment is a defect, karma is also defective and has to be given up is the opinion of some scholars. So even as they are engaged in karma, they tell other people don't engage in karma. These are various groups of people. Now there is this, all this has roots in some of the different philosophical outlook of people over the centuries, over the millennia. So even secular karmas, all right, I don't do these yajna, dana, tapas and all. I will engage in secular karma, transactional karma. I will take some occupation and I will do some karma there. Even that, these commentators, some commentators say, the blemish of enhancing one or the other proclivity. Karma inevitably attaches some sattva, rajas, or tamas into your being in the jiva. Therefore, that is an hindrance to attaining Brahma. This proclivity guna comes in the way of you are attaining to Brahma. So any source of any karma is a source of bondage. So don't engage in karma at all. That is this group of people that tajyam doshavat iti eke. This karma is defective. Don't engage in it. That's one. So then there is the counter group, a group that is practicing something or preaching something different from the first group. they declare that karmas like yajna, dana, and tapa should not be given up. Yajna, dana, tapa, karma, na tyajyamiti. That should never be given up. Manishi is one who, even having practiced karma, is free of the bondage of karma. So a dexterous karma yogi who has completely evolved himself as offering all fruits to at the feet of the Lord, all fruits of karma at the feet of the Lord. He has become a perfect karma yogi. That is a manishi. So how do you engage with karma? An example is given. These snake charmers, they engage with the snakes. How do they engage with snakes? They remove the poison out of it. So like engaging with a snake by removing its poison, one has to engage in karma by eliminating its defect. The defect of karma is doership. I am the doer, thinking that I am the doer, that thought itself. See, if I say I am the doer, I am referring to this body and mind, which I am not at all. I am not at all the body and mind. In the sense, I am the Atma, but I have, due to error, I have superposed this body and mind on this Atma and call this superposed body and mind as being myself. And that is the defect, that I am the doer. So karma has to be observed without the sentiment of doership. If as long as you don't have the identity with the karma, karma happens in the prakriti. Body and mind are prakriti. The sense organs, sense objects are prakriti. Therefore, the sense objects are sense organs are interacting with sense objects. I am the Atma, I am the witness. If you have that outlook, then the karma does not have the bondage. So that is how you have to do karma. Why do you have to do this karma as opposed to the other groups that says don't do karma? Like gold is purified by throwing it into fire. The impurities of the mind can be removed only by engaging in karma. What is the impurities? That Rolex example I gave. Now that impression is there in the mind. So now how do I avoid not taking a Rolade whenever I have a discomfort in my mind, in my stomach? I stop taking, and the next time there is a discomfort in my stomach, if I force myself not to take the Rolade, but experience the discomfort for some time and then it goes away, then you slowly erase that imprint. If you about 6 times, if you don't respond to that urge to take that Rolade, then ultimately that urge becomes less and less. And next time when we have a discomfort, you don't even worry about it. You just say that will go away by itself. And that is how this mental impurities are removed. So by engaging in karma without the sentiment of doership, these impurities of the mind, the impressions that the karma deposits in the mind are removed. Without purifying the mind, there is no scope for self-knowledge at all, because what makes the person to think is the body and mind is because of the impressions. If the impressions are not purified, there is no scope for self-knowledge. So to the ignorant, the tyaga and sannyasa may appear as of three kinds, but not to the knower of the Atma. What does it mean? See, tyaga and sannyasa could be sattvika tyaga, rajasika tyaga, tamasika tyaga, sattvika sannyasa, rajasika sannyasa, tamasika sannyasa. Those are three kinds. That happens to whom? The person who is in the prakriti. But the one who is in the Atma, there is no gunas at all. Sattva, rajas, and tamas have no reference, have no validity at all there in the state of Atma. So now, when I am experiencing the tyaga and sannyasa, how can I correctly describe them? Krishna says, no, you cannot. One who is standing in Prakriti cannot describe tyaga and sannyasa correctly. Only he who has transcended the Prakriti and stays in the Atma, he can define what tyaga and sannyasa are. Now, that is where is it available? It is available in the Shastra. So therefore, learn from me the Ishvara, the definitive command of the Shastra. So where Shastras originate from whom? from the Paramatma, and therefore the Shastra is revelations to the sages in their contemplation on the Ishvara, and those revelations are compiled together and taught to their disciples, and that is the Shastra that people can depend on to understand what is Tyaga and Sannyasa correctly. That's the description that Krishna is giving here. Tyajyam doshavat iti eke.
Tyajyam doshavat iti eke. Tyajyam doshavat iti eke.
Karma prahuhu manishinaha.
Karma prahuhu manishinaha. Karma prahuhu manishinaha.
Yajnadana tapa karma.
Yajnadana tapa karma. Yajnadana tapa karma.
Natyajyam iti cha.
Natyajyam
Iti cha apare.
Natyajyam iti cha apare. Natyajyam iti cha apare.
Tyajyam doshavadit eke. Karma prahur manishinaha. Yajnadana tapa karma. Natyajyamiti chapare.
Tyajyam doshavadit eke. Karma prahur manishinaha. Yajnadana tapa karma. Natyajyamiti chapare. Tyajyam doshavadit eke. Karma prahur manishinaha. Yajnadana tapa karma. Natyajyamiti chapare.
1, 2, and 3.
Sanyāsasya mahabāho tattvamicchāmi veditum tyagasya ca vrishikesha prutakeshi nishudana. Shri Bhagavan uvacha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sanyāsam kavayo viduho sarva karma phalatyagam rahustyagam vichakshanaha. Tyajyam doshavadityete karma prahur manishinaha. Yajnadana tapa karma natyajyamiti chapare.
So you as a transmigrant, Krishna is saying you cannot know the difference between Sattvika Tyaga, Rajasika Tyaga, or the Tamasika Tyaga or Sannyasa. Now you have to know only through the Shastra, and I am going to tell you that Nischayam Shrunume Tatra Tyage Bharata Sattama Tyago hi Purusha Vyagra Trividaha Samprakirtaha. Arjuna, Nischayam Shunu me tatra ityage. Listen to my firm opinion between renunciation and sacrifice. The tyagaha trividaha samprakirtitaha. The sacrifice or the giving up is said to be of 3 kinds. The sacrifice here should be understood as foregoing. Foregoing is said to be of 3 kinds: sattva, rajas, and tamas. So there has been a confusion about Tyaga and Sannyasa to Arjuna. In this confusion, listen to and understand my definitive opinion. I will offer a definitive view on the performance of karmas like yajna, dana, and tapas. And you don't get this by any other person who is not realized. That is the meaning he is trying to attach here. So Krishna has used Tyaga and Sannyasa in the same sense. He has used only Tyago hi, Tyaga alone. Purusha Vyagra is Trividaha Samprakirtaha. So Tyaga and he should have mentioned both Tyaga and Sanyasa if we continue to say they are two different entities. He has already said they are almost like identical. So that he is reinforcing here by using the word only Tyaga. He has not used Sanyasa in this verse. So he has used Tyaga and Sanyasa in the same sense. Going forward, we can take that. This Tyaga renunciation is of three kinds: tamasic, etc., sattva, rajas, and tamas. And that is well documented in Shastra. It's not that I am saying then it is like this. Samprakirtitaha, it is already in the Shastra. So even the Tyaga is not uniformly of one type. There are three varieties of Tyaga. I will describe and listen to me when I describe this. So where is this three kinds coming from? The universe is a composite of three gunas. That itself is a defect. If you identify with the universe, with the Prakriti, you are already in the defective mode. So in engaging with the Prakriti, its guna should be avoided. How can you can only do karma in Prakriti, you cannot do karma in Atma. So I have to do karma only in Prakriti because I am also motivated to do karma. So I have to do karma. How should I do karma? Then he says, avoid its identification with the karma and identification with the karma phala and identification with the enjoyment of the karma phala. I should not be associated with as a doer, as an enjoyer, as a knower with the Prakriti. So in engaging with the Prakriti, its guna should be avoided because the essence of happiness is in realizing the Atma and not in the Prakriti. The Prakriti, the benefits of the Prakriti, they may give you a happiness for some amount of time, a small amount of happiness for a short amount of time, but an infinite happiness over an infinite period of time, that can only happen in Atma. So the karmas of yajna, dana, and tapas are not to be renounced, they have to be performed. You can only do karma phala tyaga in there, not sannyasa itself. Because yajna, dana, and tapas are sanctifying to him. By doing the yajna, dana, and tapas, the mental cleansing of the mind happens, is achieved, and therefore you do them in the spirit of not seeking the fruits thereof. So to whom is it sanctifying? To the seekers of the Atma. Only if you are spiritually motivated to seek the Atma, then this doing yajna, dana, and tapas, it automatically cleanses the mind and elevates you towards the goals of realizing the Atma. But if you are not seeking that, all right, I will just be, like a rolling stone gathers no mass, they say in English. So I go from life to life to life. I don't have to gain any, I don't have to evolve anything more than where I am today. If one has that mindset, then the karmas of yajna, dana, and tapas have no meaning to him, and the sanctification comes only when the seeker is interested in something higher. So, and when you do these yajna, dana, and tapas with the sentiment of tyaga, it's tyaga of the fruits of action, you don't contract these defects of the guna. Therefore, performed this way, they are preparatory practices towards liberation. You are making a progress inch by inch, step by step. You are making progress towards liberation. Now, why is liberation so important? Because that's the only goal, permanent goal a human being can achieve. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Artha and kama done in the dharma, it gives you another human life. Something similar to our current life, it gives another human life. But the risk is, I don't know if in my next life, even though if I have a body just like body and mind just like this time, what the environment would be, what my friends would be, what family I would have, and I maybe have faced the risk of going down. That should be avoided is the meaning that is hidden here. So yajna, dana, and tapas are the means to purify the mind in the pursuit of this self-realization. one time or the other, everybody will seek that Atma. That is the spiritual statement that is made again and again. Because Moksha or living in Atma is everyone's birthright. I am Atma, but I have covered that Atma with the body and mind, and I'm thinking the body and mind. That's the ignorance and the error. Now, it's a question of the ignorance and error are changing from time to time at a given in any given life. And ultimately, that is the only one that can be removed, not the Atma, because Atma is permanently, eternally there. And therefore, Atma cannot be removed. You are the Atma. However, these ignorance that you have, it is subject to removal. And that you do by observing yajna, dana, and tapas in the spirit of Tyaga. That alone is the means for realization. Now, this there is a lot of, as we go higher in spiritual discussions, in the logic, there is a lot of controversy between is the ignorance there or not. Bhava, is it bhava or abhava? And there is big commentaries going through, textbooks after textbooks of commentaries on the state of ignorance itself. Ultimately, this ignorance, if it is abhava, if it is bhava rupa that is existing, what is existing cannot be removed at all in the spirit of in the spiritual thought. But what is not existing can be removed. What is existing can never be removed. And the Atma is the only existing. That is the Sat, and nothing else is Sat. That is the argument with the line of argument that they make. Bhava Rupa, Abhava Rupa. Bhava Rupa means it exists as real. Abhava Rupa means it does not exist as real. Only whatever is that is existing as real remains eternally real. Whatever that is not existing as real can be removed. That is the underlying philosophy of this spiritual knowledge. Nischayam shrunu me tatra.
Nischayam shrunu me tatra. Nischayam shrunu me tatra.
Tyage bharata sattama.
Tyage bharata sattama. Tyage bharata sattama.
Tyagaha hi purusha vyagra.
Tyagaha hi purusha vyagra. Tyagaha hi purusha vyagra.
Trividaha samprakirtitaha.
Trividaha samprakirtitaha. Trividaha samprakirtitaha.
Nischayam shrunu me tatra. Yago bharata sattama. Yago hi purusha vyagra. Trividas samprakirtitaha.
Nischayam shrunu me tatra. Tyage bharata sattama. Tyago hi purusha vyagra. Trividas samprakirtitaha. Nischayam shrunu me tatra. Tyage bharata sattama. Tyago hi purusha vyagra. Trividas samprakirtitaha.
2 to 4.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Yasam Sanyāsam Kavayo Viduho Sarva Karma Phalathyagam Rahustyagam Vichakshanaha Tyajyam Doshavadityete Karma Prahurmanishinaha Yajnadana-tapakkarma Rajyamiti chapare.
So here Krishna is saying this. Okay.
Nischayam shrunu me tatra. Tyage bharata sattama. Tyago hi purusha vyagra. विदः सम्प्रकीर्तितः
So he says here, Nischayam Shunume Tatra. There is one group that says karma has to be renounced. Another group says no, karma has to be performed. This is like in a court, you have the two sides arguing on the merits of the case or demerits of the case, and the judge gives the final judgment. Krishna is saying, I will give that judgment. Nischayam Shunume Tatra. The judgment as to the renunciation of karma. And what is that judgment? He says, Yajna dana tapa karma natyajyam karyameva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Yajna, dana, tapaha, karma. The karmas of yajna, dana, and tapas. Satyajyam karyam eva tat. It should not be renounced. It should not be sacrificed, but it is to be undertaken. Yajna, danam, sa tapaha. This because yajna, dana, and tapas. Pavanani manishinam eva. It alone sanctifies human beings through the karma alone. Karma performed in certain defined way alone can purify the mind, and that will be the playground for spiritual growth, a purified mind. Therefore, sacrifice, charity, austerity, and rituals are not to be given up, but to be performed. Sacrifice, charity, and austerity are purifying to humans. Okay, I think I missed something. So, having declared that yajna, dana, and tapas are purifying the mind, my definitive and absolute opinion, he says, this is the Nischayam Shunume Tatra, he said, my opinion is they have to be performed as duty without attachment and foregoing their fruits. So karma has to be done. Yajna, dana, tapas, those three karmas in particular, they have to be performed, and they have to be performed in a certain way without attachment and foregoing its fruits, not seeking its fruits, but foregoing its fruits. So sangha is attachment. This is my karma. When I say I, the body identity, I am doing, I have to enjoy the benefits offered by this karma. That sentiment is attachment. I am the doer and I have to enjoy the benefits is the attachment to the karma, attachment to the fruits of karma. So in enjoying the fruits of karma, what happens? Enjoyment is finite. And when you enjoy that, it leaves behind the impressions of the karma phala, like the Rolex example that we gave. So leaves behind the impressions of the karma phala, and those impressions become the seed for additional births. Then because next time you have to, in a situation like that, you do the similar actions, and those actions, they strengthen the impressions, already present impressions, and therefore ultimately they become the cause seed for additional births. So this karma is my duty, and its fruits are the offerings of pleasing the Paramatma shall be the motivation. That this is, I have to do this karma. There's a doership there. Yes, doership does not go right away, but the enjoyership goes away. Fruits are the offerings to the please the Paramatma shall be the motivation. With that, we are removing the enjoyership, and then the doership is there. Ultimately, the doership can also be removed as doing as an agent of the Paramatma. The nimitta matram bhavasavya sachini says in the 11th chapter. I only think of you as nimitta. It is my karma. Krishna says it's my karma, and I have delegated that for you to do, and therefore you do that karma as an agent. That's what we all do when we go to work for companies. We are not doing our karma. If we are doing the karma, the bidding of the company, build this product, design this product. So I'm doing it as an agent of the company when I go to earn and make a living. Now, why don't I make that as my way of living with respect to yajna, dana, and tapas? Only thing is, I always think it is Paramatma's karma, and therefore I am doing without even expecting the fruits thereof. So doing karma as duty without a desire motivation is the only way of avoiding planting new impressions or strengthening the already existing impressions. And when that ultimately, when we graduate to higher levels, will eliminate doership and addition of new impressions. So this is what Krishna is saying as a conclusive statement, that natyajyam karyameva tat. Because they are manishinam pavanani, they cleanse the mind of the people who are engaged in those. This is my firm opinion, Krishna says. I think I have to move. Yajna dana tapa karma.
Yajna dana tapa karma.
Sir.
Yajna dana tapa karma.
Natyajyam karyameva tat.
Natyajyam karyameva tat. Natyajyam karyameva tat.
Yajna danam tapah cha eva.
Yajna danam tapah cha eva. Yajna danam tapah cha eva.
Pavanani manishinam.
Pavanani manishinam. Pavanani manishinam.
Yajna dana tapa karma. Natyajyam karyameva tat. Yajna danam tapaschaiva. Pavanani manishinam.
Yajna dana tapa karma. Natyajyam karyameva tat. Yajna danam tapaschaiva. Pavanani manishinam. Yajna dana tapa karma. Natyajyam karyameva tat. Yajna danam tapaschaiva. Pavanani manishinam.
3, 4, and 5.
Tyajyam doshavadityete karma prahurmanishinaha yajnadana tapakarma natyajyamiti chapare nischayam shunu me tatra tyaje bharata sattama tyago hi purusham vyaghra nividah samprakirtitaha Yajna tapa karma natyajyam karyameva tat yajna danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam.
Etanyapitu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani iti me partha nischitam matamuttamam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Kaschit Bhavak Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu.